Alright, everyone, before we begin with the podcast, here's a little shout out for Gilbert Gan. He has generously offered to make all the thumbnails for the videos of the 10-ish minute talks podcast series and has also designed a new logo for it. His efforts are greatly appreciated. As such, I can wholeheartedly recommend Gilbert Gan as someone to turn to for commissions. He's a nice guy, he offers reasonable prices, and by all accounts, his completion times are pretty good as well. So please, if anyone is interested in getting any Loud House related artwork done for a fair price, I suggest you check this guy out. Come on, let's big up the real Gilbert Gan, folks. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Just some ordinary dude here, and I'm accompanied by real Gilbert Gan. And today we're going to talk about a really great character of the show and Gilbert's personal favourite, Luan Loud. So I'll let you start this one off, yeah?
Hey, I just want to start off by saying that I actually admire Luan Loud as much as I admire Christina Pacelli as a voice actress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can say.
And what
So
specifically about Luan's character do you enjoy a lot?
I think it's her wit.
Okay. And in
It's
what way? Like what examples?
like I can't say how many, but I actually admire many of her pranks and her jokes. But
Yeah.
sometimes Luan can be a little bit too far.
What you mean, like with the April Fools episodes and stuff like that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Sometimes I already dubbed it as prank apocalypse or prank mania.
all right, yeah. So it's like obviously there's a what three of those or four of those if you count Silence of the Luans, although that's technically Lily. But obviously
Yeah.
you've got episodes where she just goes insane and decides she's going to really prank the family badly in like a terrorizing sort of way. And to be fair, they are funny, suspenseful episodes.
The
But
one that
yeah, it is.
actually, the one moment that when went cruel was when what she did to their pets.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that episode, April Fool's Rules, once again, you saw her shape the fur and feathers of their pets.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh. And there's also, I think, was it in Fool's Paradise where she made Lana get allergic to something, like get an allergic reaction?
I think that was Fool Me Twice,
Yeah, it was one of
if I can
those
recall.
two. But there
Sometimes I
was,
do
yeah,
confuse Fool's Paradise and Fool Me Twice.
yeah. So obviously, like, sometimes she could take her pranks a little too far. I think everyone knows that. Although obviously she's done that less so in the more recent seasons because they've sort of taken down some of the focus on the
Yeah,
April Fool stories.
after Fool Me Twice, I think that's where Luann toned down her
Yeah,
pranks.
and obviously, although then Silence of the Luans ended with her saying she was going to get back into that again. So, because apparently Lily
you
loved
can
it.
thank you can thank Lily for doing that.
And then obviously, well, the only time we've really seen Luan do anything to that level again, arguably, would be Dread of the Class. But then again, that's against another prankster, and they're deliberately having a bit of a prank war, so that makes a bit more sense in context. Um, but yeah, obviously with Luan, I mean,
Yeah.
she's probably my either second or third favourite Loud sister. She's definitely up there. And I really find the character very fun and enjoyable. Like you say, Christina plays the character superbly well. She's a lot of fun, and like even like though her puns are they're sort of like intentionally lame. It's almost like they're so bad they're funny. Like they're so bad they're good, if that makes sense. Like the way she just finds her own jokes hilarious is kind of amusing. Like even when everyone else is groaning at them, and it's
That's
just
the
like
creativity of Christina right there.
yeah. And then obviously you've got some of the pranks which themselves can be quite inventive and fun. And when she is in her evil April Fool's mode, she can be quite mischievous and dangerous looking. And you're like, oh wow, she could make a supervillain.
Yeah.
She's like a less severe, brutal version of Jigsaw from the Saw movies. Interestingly, I did actually do a recent story called House of Fun, which is like a Saw movie but pranks instead. That was interesting. Um, but yeah, with Luann, she's had a lot of great episodes as well. Like
Yeah,
Head Poet's Anxiety, one of the absolute best episodes of the
stage
series.
stage flight was actually the most one of my most favorite Luan
Yeah, that was a really
episodes.
good one. And then its sequel episode, A Pimple Plan, that was really great. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you can tell
um,
that's some
yeah,
development for Luan right there.
yeah, and then you have
You can't just reduce her into just a one-sided character.
no, and then you've got Puns and Buns, really funny episode, lots of
Yeah,
great
lots of
jokes.
puns.
Dread of the Class, as we
Yeah.
said, one of the standouts of season 7.
Again, the one thing about Puns and Buns is that that is not how you want to work at
No,
all,
I mean, yeah. To be fair, I mean, as funny
or
as
else you could get fired in a single
yeah,
day.
well, yeah. I mean, as funny as Puns and Buns was, yeah, Luann was kind of in the wrong in that episode. I must admit, it wasn't. She wasn't really trying to work, taking the job very seriously. I suppose that is going to
Dir-
be a problem if she gets older and doesn't get her job in comedy because apparently she really cannot stay serious for very long.
Director Squad. That's one of the fun episodes. I think
Yeah,
that episode was a bit okay because it kind of reminds me of watching the Ghost Wrong show.
yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you've got some other like an Inspector Falls that was pretty good.
yeah,
From the road trip arc, you had Dole Day Afternoon, which I would argue was maybe the
yeah,
best episode of that arc. I really like that one, even though it was like a
yeah,
completely mundane premise. Like you wouldn't
yeah,
expect anyone to care about an episode where Luann loses her puppet because I don't think most people
yeah.
like Mr. Coconuts. I think
I mean,
he's
who
all
would
right.
want? I mean, who would want that episode? Honestly.
No, but that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of episodes of the show in the recent seasons, like we said in one of our other talks, where it's about they have ideas that just aren't that interesting. But then again, every now and then they could take a mundane idea and make it brilliant. And I will admit, Dole Day Afternoon exceeded every expectation I had for an episode like that. It was actually a really funny and even slightly emotional story, and I'm like, well, this is better than that has
Yeah,
any right to be. I must admit. I'll be fair. Yeah.
yeah. They lost that potential to just see Luan that she should move on from having Mr.
Yeah.
Coconuts with
Well,
her.
I think it was more interesting at the start when they sort of implied Mr. Coconuts might actually be alive
Hmm.
because there was like,
Yeah,
was it at the end of Stage Flight where,
yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
creepy. Either both
yeah, Luann's on
Mrs.
stage with
Appleblock and
Benny,
Mr. C being sentient.
yeah, and Lola's like, who said that? At, like the very end of the episode, and
Yeah, yeah, it would freak you out.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Um, but I don't think he is sentient now. I think they've dropped that gag and just said it's just Luann, and even yeah. But obviously, she just is a really fun character. Has a lot of great jokes, a lot of great episodes, a quite interesting, unique character design, and yeah, she's just really fun to watch on screen, and that's really all there is to it. At the end of the day, she's had some development here and there. Yeah, she's just a really good character, just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Luan is such a cute and funny character.
Yeah. I mean, we just did you see the recent episode of her in
I
season
did.
8? The mime episode where she's not really
Yeah, I
talking.
did. Only mine will tell. It was
Yeah,
actually a funny
yeah,
episode.
yeah, and it's like I bet a lot of fans when they look at that they're going to think, oh, this is a Luann torture porn episode. You know they're
I
going to
don't
have
think
that
that's. I
reaction,
don't
don't
think
you?
that's a much of a torture episode.
No, well, not intentionally, but obviously, like because she wasn't talking, all the sisters kept putting her in like these horrible situations that she didn't like. I think Lisa actually put her in extreme hot and cold for an experiment at one point, didn't she?
Yeah, I was I actually.
Yeah, yeah. So there was that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, even then, it's like she's a really good character. And actually, there was a recent episode from season 7 which is quite underrated. And Inspector Falls, that was quite good. You remember that one?
yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and it's like they actually sort of gave her a bit of an antagonist in what's her name, Amy, who tried
Yeah,
to take her lead role from her. And I'm like, you know what? You could make her
you
sort of
show
like
some
sort of friendly
a
rival of sorts in
competition.
a couple of future episodes. Maybe that could be interesting.
I was hoping for that too.
Yeah, because like think about it, most of the Louds, apart like Lincoln has Chandler, I suppose. Most of the
And I
Louds
think,
don't really have rivals. Like Laurie had Campbell Pringry, who turned out not really to be a rival.
Yeah, Carol Pingree was okay.
Lenny doesn't really have a rival, unless you count
Yeah,
Carlota in that
because
one episode, or
yeah,
Vic
considering that
from the politician election.
yeah, because Beck McGillicuddy.
Luna doesn't
Think
have like a musical rival as such. Luan
yeah,
doesn't have a rival. Lynn, how does Lynn not have a rival? She's the ultimate competition freak who does every sport.
yeah, yeah. She can run anyone unopposed.
But it's like,
I mean, Lola has Lindsay
well,
Sweetwater
that never went
and
anywhere though.
those
That
other
was only like a
pageants.
couple of times in the first season, and like we did have Gown and
Yeah,
Out where she had those China, Jackie, and Claudette, but again,
yeah,
nothing really happened with that after that episode. It's like she's not really had a
yeah. It's
long-standing
like
rival. Lana had Lacey St. Clair in that one episode. Again, nothing came of it after
yeah.
that one time.
Nothing came after.
Yeah, Lisa
Lincoln
could
once
have.
had
Yeah, yeah.
Lincoln once had a rivalry with Molly
Yeah, but that never went anywhere
on
either.
past her
It's like,
bedtime,
yeah,
but that didn't happen.
yeah, Lisa could have had Dr. Linnaeus, but that didn't go anywhere. Lucy's never really
Yeah.
had a rival unless you count Haiku, but that doesn't really
Oh yeah.
count. Yeah, like none of them have. Like Lily,
Yeah.
again,
That's
I
like not
suppose, what,
not a
Ingrid
single Loud
maybe?
would have a rival.
Yeah, like,
Probably if that happens with Ingrid, then I'm in for it.
yeah. Well, I think they sort of made up and were friends again, but I suppose you could have
Yeah.
a Lily Ingrid rivalry. That could be interesting. Two
Yeah.
babies fighting. I
I
can
mean,
sell this.
I mean, Lincoln had with Chandler and sometimes with Clyde. If you remember
Yeah.
that one episode,
Yeah, I mean, the only real long-standing rivalry is Lincoln and Chandler. That's really the
that's
only one
true.
we've got, and it's like,
But why not Luan or the others?
yeah,
That's
I
my
don't
big
know. Like,
question.
do something with that. Give them their own antagonists. In fact, there is
Yeah.
one thing. Do you remember the episode "Can't Win Them All" from
Can't let them
season
move.
7?
Yeah.
And you may or
Yeah.
may not have come across this theory I've written before. Bella Big Bucks, remember her?
No. Sometimes I don't mind all of those minor
Yeah, but
characters.
right, you remember? Look at her design from that story. The Bella Big Bucks character. She had blonde hair, unibrow, a gap in her teeth, lines on her nose, and she was in charge of a wrestling promotion. Who does that remind you of?
Oh. Oh, don't tell me. I'll. Would it be Vince McMahon?
No, from the Casagrandes. Who does that remind you of?
Becky?
Exactly. Wouldn't it make
Oh.
sense? Can't they them
Yeah. Lynn
all?
could
The
have.
ending.
Yeah, she
Bella
could have.
Big Bucks and Lynn fall out. Bella goes to
Imagine.
her daughter or niece or whoever she is to her and says, "Can you have a big wrestling fight with Lynn at season 8 for me?"
Yeah. Imagine if Lynn could face Big Bucks herself.
Yeah. Well, I
I mean,
think again she'd
I.
fight Becky because Becky was the Lynn of the Casagrandes.
Oh.
So that would make sense, wouldn't it? You're doing a big crossover fight between the two tough tomboy jock girls.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
makes sense.
You
Like
could pick.
why else would you have that specific character design for Bella Big Buck? You know what I mean? But yeah, we're going on a tangent. We go on tangents a lot in these, but yeah, going back to Luan.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
yeah, like she could
Yeah,
have a
we're doing off
rival.
topic here.
Yeah, she could have a
Yeah.
rival, and it could just as easily be Amy as anybody else, or she could have a rival prankster. That could be interesting.
Well, but not her teacher, not her mentor, because sometimes that could be
Yeah.
controversial.
Oh yeah. Well, I suppose yeah. Sometimes wasn't
Yeah,
there an
sometimes the
episode
teach.
where she was sort of trying to keep a secret from Miss Bernardo
That's
about
that's right.
yes, I suppose that you could say maybe Mrs. Bernardo could be
Maybe
a
maybe
sort
it
of
could be
rival,
Kate.
maybe.
It could be Kate.
Yeah,
That could be her rival sometimes.
yeah. I mean, it could literally just bring a new person in it, like, and they could just have a have a rival prankster to deal with, like someone who is even more severe and extreme with their pranking methods than her, and she's like, "Wow, I've got to stop you," something like that.
Uh,
I don't know. They could go there. Again, I think they
yeah,
could do more rivalries in the show between the Loud sisters and other characters, whether they're
yeah,
previously established ones or they just bring in new ones. Doesn't really matter. Just
yeah,
do something like that. There's so much potential there. You know what I mean?
yeah. Here, hey, this may be a little bit controversial for me to ask. What is your opinion about fans shipping Luan with Maggie from
Oh,
Funny
yeah. I
Business?
mean, I'd never really got it. I'm guessing it's just one of those weird things where, a
Yeah,
character, like a
I don't
one
get
shot
that either.
character with an interesting design, I guess, ended up
Yeah,
becoming an
that's a
ensemble
weird
dark horse in
thing.
the fandom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. But I don't really care for it. I'm like, Maggie, she's a
yeah.
one shot character. She and Luan didn't really
Even
even have a proper interaction. Luan just performed on stage for
yeah,
her. And I'm like,
that's
well,
also my. That's what I was thinking either.
yeah. But
Because
it's just one of those
there was a
fans like to
lot
do all
of
sorts
fan
of things.
shipping.
I mean, if we're going to talk about fan shipping, why in the bloody hell do they ship Lincoln with all of his sisters?
Yeah, yeah. If maybe we could ask that in the next episode,
Yeah, I'd rather really not
in the
do a
future,
whole
or in a
podcast
future
about that.
episode someday,
Yeah, oh god, man.
because this has been a problem with the Loud House fandom at some point.
At every point, the entire history of it. They always do these weird, mad, insane shippings. Like some people even ship Lincoln with Lily.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I think there are some people who do that.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, yeah, probably best we move on. Yeah, yeah,
Eh,
yeah. That is a thing. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we're 15 minutes in, so I think
yeah,
we've made our point. Yeah,
I think we need
Luan
to
is
fill
a
up.
really fun,
Um,
endearing character. Had tons of great episodes. Christina plays her brilliantly. Yeah, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
nah, maybe we could go on with some. If I can appear again, maybe I'll talk some other episodes in the future.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, you're always welcome to do some more with me. Yeah, I think we'll
Yeah,
leave it there for now, and
yeah.
yeah, we'll be back soon.